Well, it's that time of the month again that I'm doing a grocery breakdown for you, and I suppose at this moment I should do the disclaimer because this is an extremely high adrenaline rush for most people, and so if you are weak of heart, it's best to go back to the sofa because this one is just going to be too exciting. Okay, now we start off, of course, with our Alturas box, recycled box, which they give you, and they do it on the spot, and they put everything in, and they just do such a great job, and I always admire it, and I always say a great thank you. So what we're going to do is put the box. Look at this is just so good. I'll throw that on the floor. We actually spent quite a bit more. I actually spent quite a bit more this week because we had been holding on for my UK pension, which was supposed to come last month, and it didn't, and we had to do without. And it looks like it's not going to come this month either. So this has nothing to do with grocery bills, but it would be of interest to someone if they intend to come and live in the Philippines, that you need to have some kind of a reserve. Even if you might be breaking free of the place that you live and you're going to come and live here and you're going to come and do it, and you can maybe not have a great deal of money and be depending on your pension, which to a large degree we do. Beth and I depend on my pensions. I have a small pension from the UK, and I have a slightly larger pension from the US. Obviously I paid my dues in on both countries, so I get a little back, and it's enough to live on if we are careful. So that said, we are being careful, and this month is looks like it's going to have to be another careful one as well. But I went out today. I went to Alturas, and I'm going to put this down here. Yep, there we go. I went to Alturas today, and what I usually do, which probably housewives all over the world will be saying, well, what else would you do? But I'm just a husband, okay? And I usually keep a careful tote on what I'm buying. So I do a little mental arithmetic as I go along, and I over-allow so that I don't get embarrassed when I get up to the cash desk. So what did we spend this week? Well, we actually spent a lot more than we normally do. Normally I can make the bill come to less than 2,000. Obviously we don't get everything that we want, but sometimes you need to buy those staples which will last for, who knows, 3 or 4 weeks. And I had to get those today. Things like washing powder, detergent. I had to get stuff for dishwashing. Had to get vinegar, had to get soy sauce, stuff like that, and a couple of bottles of honey. So it was more than I normally expect. So I've spent that at Alturas, and I've also spent another 250 on, let me see, on these, which is a ton of bananas, half of which Beth has already eaten, and a nice big melon, which personally I really love. And surprisingly, not many of the family go much on the melon. Don't ask me why. But the bananas, everybody goes bananas about bananas. So what I did, I bought some tea towels. I would call these tea towels. And I bought 3 of those. No idea what they cost, but the problem with this is that often we put this in the laundry to go over to Nana's, where Vec, as part of her chores over there, does our laundry, and for some reason they don't get sent back. So, one of those little peculiarities of living in the Philippines. A toothbrush. So, and then I got some of these are ready-made vegetables. So, this is a mixed veg, mostly shards of carrot and either white cabbage or lettuce. And it's easy to use that, so I get that. It's only, I didn't tell you, did I? 29 pesos. So 29 pesos, it's not even half a dollar, it's not even 50 cents. This, of course, they packed separately, and this is keratin, and the keratin is the choice of the ladies here, that it's supposed to be very good for the hair. So, got some sachets. Thing is, there's always this thing with the sachet thing, and people who have what I call the Costco mentality is that rather than buy a sachet, like one sachet would do one shampoo of the hair. And it's not an economic way of doing it, but the thing is that some folks might have to make this last for 2 shampoos of the hair, and if this is what they can afford, then it doesn't matter whether they should be buying the bottle, which would be so much cheaper. If you don't have it, then you can't do it, can you? If somebody offered you a Rolls Royce or a Cadillac for $100 and you didn't have $100, then it's not a bargain. You can't steal that. So that's the reasoning behind that. So there's that stuff there. Also, once again, this is surf, which people in the West will be very familiar with, and it's in a sachet, a small bag. There's the small bag there. And we're in what I've long since called the one egg economy. I can go to a local sari-sari store and I can ask them for 1 egg. Now, as a foreigner, they'd be wondering why I was crazy, because obviously every foreigner in the Philippines, as far as Filipinos are concerned, is rich, which of course is hardly true. So, the old devil we know, and that is noodles. And I got, in this particular case, I got 7 noodles, 7 packs of noodles. And the noodles, they're cheap fillers. Yes, I know all about the sodium thing, and I know that they're not the healthiest thing in the world. And neither probably is coffee. Neither is an awful lot of things that we eat, like, as far as I'm concerned, like McDonald's, which, how would you ever know where the meat comes from? Oh, did I say that? No, of course I didn't. Now these are called Skyflakes, and they're crackers, and they come in small packs, and there's 24 packs in here, and they're kind of like little snack fillers. Are they the healthiest? Probably not. Okay, what else? Now I thought I'd try this. This is a little bag of mixed nuts. Okay, and it was, I believe, I remember paying for this, it was under $1 for the pack. Now I crumbled a little bit and I got one of these. These are snacks here, and they're just little tasty things. Now what I liked about these are little packs of, in this case there's 5, and in this case there's 4, and they're priced accordingly. See, but what I like about this is this one is 28 pesos. This one, strangely enough, is 29, but then there's a bigger one in there. That's the clue. But they're marked local, so these are grown locally, which I like the idea that we're buying things which are grown locally. Next, this is a bottle of honey, and it's kind of like what you used to see on the movies when the alcoholics bought a little tipple. They would buy something in this size of bottle, and this, for this size of honey, which is pure honey, it is 1.33. So crumbled, I have that in my tea, and I bought 2 bottles of that. So with the tomatoes, I like to have a piece of cheese. So a lot of great cooks who are watching and saw that for breakfast once I had a couple of tomatoes sliced and put in a circle around the plate, and then some cheddar in strips, and I said that was my breakfast, which to me was a delicious breakfast. A little salt on the tomatoes, and beautiful with a cup of coffee. How can it be faulted? So here we've got these are red onions. Let me see. This little bag, 37 pesos. And I even got some potatoes. How much were the potatoes? Ooh, now look at that. There's the onions, which are probably local grown, and there's the little bag of potatoes. But the potatoes are twice the price, 65. Okay, I like the oranges again. Once again, these are all around the same price. Let me see, 32 pesos. So that's 32 pesos is, let's just guess, say about 75 cents, if that. And then a little pack of apples. What did this cost? Now this was 116 pesos, so very close to $2 for 6 apples. Now I got some unheard of in the Built-Up family to buy a trash bag to put into the trash collector there, but seems like a good idea to me. Now that is Zone for dishwashing liquid. It was about 25 pesos. So you can see that we're much more than we usually do. Now Beth is on a change of lifestyle, so decreasing on the amount of stress that she puts herself through, which is difficult to get her to slow down. You know, pretty much like standing in front of a Ford Mustang when they're revving it to go. And she's not allowed to have coffee, okay? So I get the coffee and I will have to hide this so that she doesn't get tempted and so she doesn't drink my coffee. So what else? Here, this was about $1.50, and it's for Beth's little dog. So put that. It's shampoo. Now this, I was really surprised that I was able to get this. A guy that we know, somebody that we met through the channel, and he is an expert therapist on the thyroid. We're talking to him, and he said, yes, well, the salt is not good that they're selling, but if you could by any chance get Himalayan salt. Now, just bearing in mind that when I first came out to Cebu, from Cebu to here, I actually went round 2 or 3 drugstores looking for that very, very rare thing, a Band-Aid. And none of them had it. None of them had a Band-Aid, a drugstore. So that I was able to go to Alturas, and I'm looking through the places where you would buy things like salt and pepper and so on, and there it is, Himalayan pink rock salt. Who would have thought? Only in the Philippines. What else have I got? The staples. You can't have a Philippine household without soy and vinegar. Now let me show you something, if they haven't been thrown away. Now, when I buy vinegar, in an extraordinary show of brilliance, I buy it in a bottle. It still has vinegar in the bottle. And they've been out and they bought a sachet. Now, they'll buy this at the local sari-sari store. And it can stand up, okay, because it's broad at the bottom and narrow at the top. So that's vinegar, and the same for the soy sauce. But left to their own devices, Taliklik, if we tell her to go out and get stuff, she'll go out and get stuff that she knows she needs to cook a meal. She will come back with 2 sachets, one of vinegar and one of soy sauce. And I really don't know why. Now this, like for instance my cheddar, will stay undisturbed in the refrigerator, which here they call a ref, not a fridge. Different culture. Okay, now I've still got the staples. This is for when, like this is con norte, they call it here. It's corned beef. It's a very small part, and if you are screwed for having something to eat, you can actually take a can. Yes, I know it's not healthy, and if you're a smoker, you can lecture me all day long about how unhealthy these things are. It's a can of tuna in oil, and one of these would probably serve 2 of us with rice. So I usually buy half a dozen of these. In this case, I bought tuna and corned beef. And if we mix corned beef with a couple of eggs and have with rice, what else would we have in the Philippines? That's something that you should remember if you're a foreigner, is that rice is life. Beth complained once to her mother. She said, "Nanny, I've got a headache." And her mother came straight back and said, "Because you're not eating enough rice, that's why." Yeah. So, what I have here at the bottom, which I should put straight into the fridge, and this is bags of chicken. Now the thing is that everybody knows that when they parcel something up into little bags, like for instance the tomatoes, usually with expert judgment they can give you 3 good tomatoes, and one which, if you don't run straight home and eat it, it will be off by this evening or already be a bit soggy, okay? And we all know better than to buy things in pack, but this is very convenient because A, you don't have to, out here they have this long meat tray. It's a deep tray and it has all of the meat, and you can go and you can buy pork, and you can buy various parts of pork, on the bone, off the bone, lean, with fat, in any way. You can buy chicken, and what they've started doing is they've started making these bags, and they make the bag and they sell it for a straight $2.50. So you don't have to wait, you don't have to start fiddling about with the tongs, getting the meat out. No, darling, that's no good.
It's very dark. It's
Okay.
very dark.
Who am I to contradict? Now my head's in a halo of light, and I see it's the
No.
closest I'll get to heaven.
Darling.
Anyway, this...
Hello. I'll speak up, baby, and tell it like
Oh,
this
that's
one.
good, yes. Don't forget to comb your hair.
Yeah.
Alright. She's the only woman I know in the entire Philippines who is not absolutely obsessed with her hair. See, but anyway, look. Back to something I understand, chicken wings. So, there's a load of chicken wings in there, I don't know, 4 or 5 or maybe 6 if we're lucky. And I put it in another bag, and I will put that into the fridge. Now, in a separate bag, I have put, let me see, drumsticks. So, oh shoot. So the drumsticks, they're all sorted. You can bet your life there's a few generous looking drumsticks that will attract your attention and make you think, well, that doesn't look bad. And then there's the other ones that are not enough to even keep the tempo. Also, the other one that I liked, I thought, actually this has collapsed on itself, you can't see what it is, but it's another bag of some form of chicken. Now, my challenge here will be that Beth is not really very interested in cooking, and my own menu that I can do is very challenged. So we have Taliklik come over, and she comes over from school and she spends a little time with us, which is always wonderful, and she cooks, and she's actually a very good cook. But the Philippine, what can I say, in the Philippine psyche is this idea that if they go to the refrigerator and there's meat, they cook everything. So here we are, we're on a budget, and we're supposed to be making it last. So instead of taking out enough of these drumsticks, 1 for each person or 2 for each person, they'll cook the entire bag plus another one. So I have to go and try to explain to them, no, we're not going to do that. We're going to cook enough for this meal. No, they don't do that. If they cook rice, they put enough rice in there that you can invite an entire battalion of passing the army, and a lot of it goes to waste, and some of it goes and feeds the dogs. Now, that's another thing that's different in the Philippines as well, is that in the West they feed dogs special food. A little while ago in YouTube I happened to see an article in there, a video in there, about an old dog that had just died and how upset the man who, the owner was, the old dog had died. It turns out that the dog was 31 years old. Now, here we have dogs, it's a hard life here as a farm dog, and they may get 5 years. 5 years life, and then die. And when they die, they take themselves off somewhere and do it quietly by themselves. They don't do this thing like in the West where people have had a dog for at least 10 years, probably 14 or 15 years, and they are like children, and they have their own bed, and they're petted, and they're loved, and they are members of the family. And when they die, it's a huge loss. Well, this dog had lived to 31 years old, was still quite active, and they revealed that the secret was, in the estimation of the owner, it was because he had been fed all his life on human food. And that's what they do here in the Philippines, although I haven't seen any 31-year-old dogs, but then it's a different life here. And here we have rabies, so they face much more challenging lives. So what have I done? I've done everything. The meat was the last thing that we did, and it is quite a bit. Looking now on here, this is not counting, it's not counting the melon and the bananas, which were around $2.50 for the melon and for the bananas. See, so you can see the kind of cash that we've got through this time is 3,203 pesos. So what are the expensive items on it, to give you an idea? Well, here we've got the chicken. The chicken, as I said, are around $2.50 each one. So that's a big one. Chicken wings, $2.45, drumsticks, $2.40. The tuna, they put them all together, it came out at 108. Now what they are is usually the tuna. These things, usually 27 pesos. I think that these probably about the same, maybe 18 or 20. So that's where we've got. So for the week ahead, if we can just keep Taliklik's hands off the other bags of meat and save them for a few days' time, we have enough to eat, and we have some of the staples like vinegar, which will last a long time, and the soy, and we've got other bits and pieces. These things will sit in the drawer for the longest time, and then when we've got nothing, we'll put an egg with them. When I was in California, we were a single parent, and we used to put all kinds of stuff with this, corn, sweet corn, and chicken. Bits of chicken would go in with this, and it would be the basis for a meal. For me, the snacks are Eden, cheddar, and it is actually pretty nice. Not the same as in England, but then a major realization for me was that I'm not in England anymore, or in America. Tomatoes, 29.38. Very slightly expensive. This isn't, just for an orange, one orange, 32 pesos. Is there a price on the Himalayan pink salt? No, I'm afraid not. Can I see it quickly without keeping you hanging on? What did it cost? No, can't see it. Pink salt. Himalayan, ooh, quite expensive. It was 270 pesos. Now the thing here, the challenge there will be in getting Talik to use it. Himalayan pink salt. Daddy, what will it do? So got the honey, which is good, and also the crackers you can have with honey. I didn't get any butter, which is a new thing for the Philippine family in my experience and my association. No, they don't use butter. Certainly never cook with butter. So they don't actually have a space for it in the head where they are going to use it. They don't think that way. Now, I haven't actually got any virgin olive oil, which I'm trying to get them to use, but they use it. When I do get it, we have some there left over, that's still in the bottle that I bought. It's expensive, okay? It's up in the 200, 300, 400, 500 a bottle. And they use it like the crappy cooking oil that they use, which is really not very good for you. And so often food can be swimming in that oil. And then when they cook with the olive oil, it swims in the olive oil, which it really doesn't need to be swimming. The other thing that is a challenge to get the kids to realize is that what started off as non-stick pans, when they're being cleaned, they get scraped and gouged and are not non-stick pans anymore. So I'm almost afraid of buying, again, non-stick pans. I'd have to buy them and only use them myself and put the others away, but then Lovely always finds everything. And she'll bring them out and say, Daddy, we've got new pans. Yes, dear, I know. So, that's my little thing. I hope those with heart tremors are still managing to stay awake. Bye for now.